Akira Shiroyanagi, a high school student who enjoys playing games, and his room is an absolute mess. Akira is bored with daily activities. One day, while on the way to school, he is suddenly attacked by a mysterious man. He runs and knows he cannot fight him head-on. But if he treats this whole thing like a game, he'll win. Akira escapes to an abandoned building, and the man comes after him. So we see Akira using his brains to get the better of this monster and kill him. Shortly after, this strange woman, Mion, pops up and congratulates him for defeating her pet. But even winning this game would be pointless for him. She kills him. Akira thinks it isn't over till it is game over, but the next thing he knows, he is in a room filled with different people. Then here comes Mion congratulating all of them for being part of this focus group. All of them are considered dead in society, and so they'll have to live and play by their rules. A burly guy thinks he is tough and wants to kill her, but it's good timing for Mion to transform her hand into a cannon and kill him. Make sure you know your place now. She further explains that all of them are given a unique ability, and they will be conducting experiments as feedback. Each of them has handcuffs that restrict their ability, but when they come off, they are free to use it any way they like without worrying about facing consequences like hurt or death. Mion seems to know everyone's personality, as she tries to take questions. Yuri asks why they are selected. Don't get disappointed by the answer, it's random. Mion's comrade, Yang, reminds her it is time to start the program. They are all led into their rooms. Akira sees a note containing his ability. He is shocked and ponders how to use it. The first program is a one-on-one fight, and Akira against Madoka, a troublemaker who despises school and causes trouble. After a 5-second countdown, the fight begins. Madoka transforms his wooden sword into a real sharp blade. Akira dodges and escapes. It seems he has not been using his ability all the while, until the time is right as he turns his hand into a cannon like Mion and fires at him. Madoka is forced to surrender. Mion is happy since her favorite subject won. Yang wonders why Akira didn't use that ability at first, but Mion explains this illusion ability. Akira's ability is whatever his opponent thinks his ability. Akira was waiting for the right moment and conditions to get Madoka to believe he had this hand cannon. Akira thinks of testing his ability more, and playing along enough till he makes Mion regret giving this ability to him. Now we see from Yuri's end, who hates the word coincidences since her whole life is nothing but bad luck. Like how she saved a guy, but he became her stalker. Her mom picked up a new boyfriend at a bar and he too has a daughter named Rhea. One day she spotted her stalker trying to kill himself. She tried to save him, but he pulled her down with him. Next thing she knew, she's part of this sick program. She sees her ability and tests it out. Looks like some strength thingy, but the organization isn't so dumb to make her so powerful that she can punch down the walls. She vows to get out this place so she can get back to Rhea, who is hinted to be an abused child. Yuri faces off with a shabby perverted old guy, whose ability is to identify conditions of others via scent. Creepy. This perverted old guy takes off his pants to fight. Yuri is of course confused by all as she gets overwhelmed by this perverted old guy. He narrates his pathetic past like how he was having fun with a high school girl. But when she blackmailed him for money, he killed her and got hooked on this feeling of control. Now he gets to do it all over with Yuri. Of course she isn't amused, especially when he says the taboo word of coincidence. She gets mad and beats the hell out of him until she is the winner. As revealed, her ability is to quadruple her physical abilities. Once again, she vows to get back to Rhea. Akira is taken to a room for the next program. Looks like it is going to be a team battle, and his teammates are Yuri, Shin, Madoka, and a budget Lupin guy, Satoru. With 2 hours to the start of the program, Satoru suggests introducing themselves. He reveals his power to be turning a button into a rope. What the freak? So the rest also introduce themselves as we hear Shin reveal his power to be invincible for 2 seconds. When it is Akira's turn, the dilemma of whether or not he should reveal his power. Of course he lies that his ability hand cannon, while telling the truth, might unleash unlimited possibilities. There's a chance that he won't be able to use his power if it doesn't work. Therefore, it is currently too dangerous. Thanks to Satoru being a great group host, Akira is relieved that he is not in focus, and this means he doesn't have to demonstrate his powers since the conditions are not right for him. As the program starts, it seems this team battle isn't all 5 fighting together at the same time. It will be one-on-one, and the team with the most wins will win overall. Anyway, with this format, Akira realizes that this format might have made some to reveal crucial info unnecessarily. First matchup is Satoru against the beautiful woman named Rin. Rin wants Satoru to forfeit his match. She is willing to give him special service after that. Monkey Guy would love to take the offer, but he has a better suggestion. They'll flip his coin and the loser forfeits. As he does so, Rin kills him off. Nobody saw it how those sharp items suddenly impaled Satoru's body. With Satoru dead for real, Madoka belittles his death because he let his guard down. But this doesn't sit well with Yuri and Shin. Infighting among teammates is the last thing Akira wants. He is able to calm them so that they can concentrate on the next match, which is Shin versus Ringo. Ringo looks pretty calm staring at Shin. When it begins, Shin makes a dash towards her. He stops dead in his tracks thinking she is going to do something dangerous. Except she forfeits her match. Everyone in shock. When Ringo returns to her teammates, she explains her ability to copy the ability of others. However, she cannot identify Shin's ability, and this puts her at a disadvantage if this becomes a physical brawl, so she immediately forfeited. However, we see Rin's true colors as the group's dictator as she abuses Ringo for not even letting Shin to at least show his ability. She warns if their team loses, all of them might get punished, and this makes her win for nothing. After she calms down, Ringo might be putting a calm exterior, but on the inside she is scared to death. Next is Madoka against Siko. Now we can at least see some real fight. Siko starts off by taking out her slingshot and fire. Madoka deflects it in time before the marble enlarges itself. No matter how many times she shoots, Madoka's quick reflex has him deflect them away. Even if the marbles enlarge in time, he can easily cut them in half. Madoka's ability is not only to turn a stick into a sword but to cut through anything too. Siko is worried she can't win. A fate worse than death awaits her. Rin's evil face looking at her. Siko throws lots of marbles to surround him. She pretends to throw the last one, so when Madoka cuts it, she has another one ready to shoot at him at point blank. However, Madoka has a hidden sword and cuts her slingshot. It's her loss as Madoka tells her to forfeit. But the joke's now on him since a loose marble rolls near his feet and enlarges. Madoka becomes unconscious. Just like that, the tables are turned and Siko wins. Next is Akira against Kuji. Akira conducts a few experiments. He knows the loser will not get death because otherwise why will they get medical treatment after the game? Then he tests several conditions for his ability to materialize. One of them being accusing Madoka for his pathetic loss and threatening to punish him. Of course he purposely misses his cannon at him. Then he fires back at Kuji, but it seems he manages to block his shots. But Kuji, being a loser with low self-confidence, thinks he will lose, so the girls led by Rin cheer on him. Too bad he took too long fantasizing, and Akira throws his shoe at his face before pointing his cannon at him. He can tell his ability is to nullify others, but only when his hand touches the ground. This happens since his hand cannon also disappeared. Kuji surrenders and it's game over. Akira also goes over the experiment. His hand cannon won't materialize if his opponent doesn't acknowledge they are engaged directly with him. Final match is between Yuri and Yuji, the stalker guy who died with her. Yuri is mad and wants to beat the hell out of him. Yuji dares her, because his ability is to turn his body into iron and can take all her beating. Yuri's so mad her punch makes him fly out of the ring. Yuri wins. Now for the penalty. The winning team are treated to nice food being served by the loser team dressed in Playboy bunny outfits. Rin is interested in Akira and wants to know him more, but Akira knows better and brushes her off. Better stay away from this dangerous woman. As they move to the next phase, Mion hints that wasn't the real penalty, and that is still to come. Meanwhile, Akira's team will now have to break up and choose a path and follow its instructions there. Because Yuri's hand is sore from punching the stalker, Akira gave her his handkerchief in hopes she could give it back to him once this is over. While Yuri is flustered by it, we all know that Akira has planted the seeds in hopes it'll turn out to his favor in the future. Akira hears the instructions to collect 1,000 points. He currently has 100 points. He is surprised to see the stage as the outdoor woods. He meets a man named Katsuya. Akira thought Katsuya is here to ambush him, but he wants to talk. Suddenly Yuri is seen running away from a group of perverts known as Red Dragons. Red Dragons want to recruit Yuri into their team, which of course she doesn't want to. One of them has a hand cannon ability, so when they learn Akira has one too, they are shocked and want him too. Katsuya uses his ability to turn wood into a bow and shoot infinite arrows to let them run away. But it is ultimately Akira's hand cannons that allow them to escape. Katsuya brings them back to their base. It's a mini village. There's even a baby here too, but without any cuffs because his mom was brought here while pregnant. Katsuya leads them to their leader, Shurasagi, who is thrilled to discover their superpowers since it gives them a chance to fight back. Shurasagi explains the background that you can earn points while doing missions and then use them as currency to buy stuffs including info. When he was first here, teams were relatively small, but soon one team started to bloom and they are the Red Team. Because there is no guarantee that the next program will be better, they decide to make this their own kingdom. But they accomplish this by kidnapping people, and they control by instilling fear. Now we see Red Team ruled by this strong weirdo, Hajime, who is not happy that Red Dragons failed to capture those useful duo. He punishes the shorty leader by smashing a beer bottle in his face. Sub-leader Masaya believes there is more to Akira than his hand cannon, because it seems improbable he could escape from Red Dragon. If he has some rare ability like them, this would gain the attention of somebody they want. Shirasagi continues his explanation that those who won't stand for the exploitation of the weak end up in Green Team and they are fighting back against them. But there is a neutral faction, and although consists of many smaller groups, they are collectively known as Blue Team. Yuri will join them as she will not stand for their tyranny. But for Akira, looks like he plans to take Shirasagi as hostage. However, his hand cannon cannot manifest, and he wonders if he has nullification abilities or is just not convinced. But soon his hand cannon materializes. Shirasagi dares him to shoot. Nothing happens to Shirasagi, and it was all part of Akira's plan to test him for his leadership. Now he is convinced to stay on this team. Just then another Green Team member named Momoko informs them there is an unexpected flood of newcomers and not enough rooms. Akira suggests to share a room with Yuri, and they immediately find rubber inside. Yuri's reaction of getting ahead of herself is reading too much of those manga stuffs. So when Akira wants to confess to her with this note, she is going to be disappointed. The note says his real ability is telepathy. He wants her to test out, and soon they're speaking telepathically. His reason for them talking this way is because they may be monitored, as they are strong and new recruits, so it is likely Shirasagi wants to keep an eye on them. They get to know more of each other via telepathic talk. Yuri talking about Rhea, and Akira's goal is to get revenge on Mion. With all the trust in place, Akira then reveals his secret true ability, not hand cannon or telepathy, but whatever his opponent think it is. Then an announcement by Mion for a ghoul hunting event tomorrow. Green Team arrives at the ruins, as Mion begins the side quest. It ends with either all ghouls dead or the humans. Shirasaga's partition of the teams allow them to nicely defeat the ghouls. Akira's explanation how he can still use his hand cannon in this state sounds confusing. When Red Team arrives, Shirasagi has his team retreat because he doesn't want Hajime and Masaya to see their abilities. But those bosses play dirty as they send in slaves to get killed by the ghouls, so that Shirasaga's team is forced to save them. Masaya has the ability to force people to work for him in return for a favor. Anyway, one of those slaves is Ringo, and of course Akira saves her. Mion then gets the main event started with this huge cat ghoul. Akira is in a pinch, so Shirasagi is forced to step him to let Akira escape, risking his enemies see his true ability. So what's this conduct peaceful negotiations with the other party? Not sure how it works as a barrier, but heck, it's peaceful for him. But when negotiations break down, he can direct all that accumulated power back to the aggressor. Big Boss Ghoul is down. Red Team boss is satisfied in getting Shirasagi to reveal his trump card. But event not over yet. Cat Ghoul eats other ghouls to regenerate. Shirasagi tells everyone to escape. However, Yuri isn't fond of the idea of abandoning, so she jumps back to help him. This in turn has Akira coming into the picture as he also fires his cannon. To defeat this big boss, he has an idea. They take pot shots at it as Akira needs to hide himself from Red Team's bosses for this trick to work. He manages to get into a blind spot and gets himself cornered by the boss. It looked like the monster took him out, but the next thing we see, Akira planting his cannon right in its mouth. However, it revives again. This time Hajime jumping in and kicking off its head. He is so satisfied with what he sees, he dares them all to fight him. However, Mion reminds he doesn't call the shots, so she suggests a more interesting mission. She wants Green Team versus Red Team in the sense that whoever hunts down the leader's interface wins. But Masaya doesn't find this exciting, unless she adds a penalty. Everyone on the losing team dies. Of course, Mion also adds another condition that both the team's bosses will have their abilities suppressed. This is tempting as Hajime and Shirasagi have very strong abilities. Because both sides are at a deadlock, this could be their chance to crush the other as their boss will be in a weakened state. With that set in stone, this hunting game will take place in 7 days. As Green Team takes in the injured, Shin helps bring back safely a Green Team girl, Haruka, from being harassed by a Red Team goon. Understandably, everyone thinks he is a baddie, but with Akira and Yuri recognizing him, they apologize. Ringo goes to talk to Akira. Looks like it is more than just wanting to thank him. After summoning up her courage, she claims she knows his ability. He quickly ushers her into his room and wants an explanation. She tells what her ability is and believes it is weak on its own, so she wants a partner. She views Akira the same and wants him to be her partner. Akira seems interested because this means she knows the abilities of those in Red Team. Ringo leaves, firmly believing she is Akira's only partner. Akira then gathers Yuri because he needs to go talk to Blue Team. Meanwhile, we see Masaya calling his crazy fighters. One of them is Renka. Then there's this old man Kamui, and the crazy samurai slasher Rindu. Yuuki brings an escaped comrade. Thanks to a spy in Green Team, he managed to escape and report what he saw on Akira's tricks. Therefore, Masaya is convinced that Akira has a different ability, and that his cannon is a fake. Yuri once again gets trolled by Akira about wanting to be alone with her, and to feel it. But of course it's just to test their powers. Akira trying to use Yuri's power, but failed, and he thinks the trick of teleportation that got him out from that monster cat's pinch was just lucky. He suggests trying another method. This time she has to visualize someone specific, as Akira will turn into that person. So she visualizes Ringo. It works. Of course this means Akira knows she saw them together yesterday. He tells what happened, but can't say any more because of Ringo's conditions to her. First, to tell her about this is her way of insurance. Second, he cannot disclose Ringo's power to her. Then they go meet Amoto, who is the leader of Blue Team. Akira wants to recruit some members to join them, but of course Amoto reminds them they are neutral. Even if Akira is willing to pay hefty points, this only works if Green Team wins. But if Yuri joins him, he might convince many of his Blue Team to join him. Akira instantly rejected that suggestion down, since Yuri is very important. In fact, she is so important that he'll only trade her if Amoto himself joins in the fight and obeys his command. Amoto will distribute information about this offer to his teammates as a favor to him. Akira and Yuri are too late to realize Madoka is on Blue Team. Looks like he still wants a rematch with Akira, so he'll join Red Team to fight him. But Akira ignores him and telling him do whatever he wants. Next day before the hunting begins, there are a few added rules. Some towers in which if they hold the fort and charge their devices, they can earn some points. They can use these points to do various things like shutting down someone's ability or finding their location. After selecting their king, the game begins. Shirasagi as the Green Team's king has his men take control of the towers. All is fine at Ketsuya's team. Asuka and Ko run into trouble because Hajime is here himself. He is going to play with her until her comrades arrive. Despite her ability to control the weight of her sword, this isn't even enough to pin the big guy down. She gets done in. Then we see Red Team's crazy fighters all out on a killing spree. What a field day for massacre. And Shun already got a hand cut off by Yuuki. Akira meets up with Rin, and it looks like both have agreed to some exchange plan. Though, both don't trust each other, especially Akira, who is resisting her advances. Once Akira leaves, Rin makes a call to someone to report she has found Akira. Hajime feels all those Green Team he beat down has been a waste of time. Before he kills Asuka, here comes Yuri to save the day. Now it gets interesting for Hajime as he fights her. Thanks to Akira's tactics, Yuri is able to hold her ground against this monster, beating him terribly in that terrible 3D animation. Thanks to Ringo's ability, she was able to remove the spy. But before she could seek out more info, he is suddenly killed off. Then she realizes this means there is another spy. It's that old lady close to Shirasagi, Momoko. Flashback shows Akira was against Yuri going to Asuka's aid because he needs her by his side. She told him to work with Ringo, then and claims his trust in her, so that he could just use her. Although Yuri left to help Asuka, Akira has a plan in case this happened. He bumps into Madoka, who is back for a rematch, then they start fighting. Madoka has the ability to transform little pieces of wood into knife-sized swords. He uses these to attack Akira. However, with Rindu coming to kill both of them, Madoka makes a truce with Akira to take down this samurai. It is revealed that Madoka and Rindu are the person Akira and Rin called respectively, so this is all part of the plan. While it is thought that Rindu's ability is similar to Madoka's, Akira notices there are some differences, like Madoka's sword could cut through his cannon but Rindu's attack couldn't. He must be cutting something else. Then they create a plan to take him down. Madoka fights him in close range until Akira fires from a blind spot. Rindu saw this coming, but he didn't see the last step as Akira blasts the trees. Splinters allow Madoka to turn it into knives and throw it back at Rindu, which kill him. Meanwhile, Renka is killing everyone, but a dying Green Team member uses her ability to twist her own neck. Only, Renka didn't die. Just then Rin comes behind her. Because Rin sees this, Renka will kill her. Rin fights back as she splatters her blood all over Renka so that blades could pop up and stab her. But Renka still won't die. After Rin binds her, she targets the real body of Renka. She killed some ugly dude hiding in a box. Rin knows Renka is a puppet because it would be silly for a death game to have a contestant who is invincible. Rin's plan, as she made a deal with Green Team, is to kill one of Red Team's generals. Doing so, they would attest to Mion she is Green Team's spy. This means it doesn't matter which side wins, she'll still survive. It is revealed that her true ability is to turn her bodily fluids into torture devices. Yuuki's ability is to shrink things, and he is about to shrink his string around Shin's neck when Haruka jumps in to shove Yuuki. Flashback on Shin that he had an older brother in wrestling whom he admires. They promise to team up once Shin is out from hospital. Too bad he died in an accident. Shin has been hesitating, using his invincibility power out of respect. But the ghost of his brother tells him it's time to move on. Then Shin transforms into a metal knight to break free from Yuuki's strings and give him a good smack down. That should put this kid out of his misery. Meanwhile, Katsuya is face to face with an old man from the red team. Katsuya is about to sacrifice himself to Kamui, but luckily Akira is here to tell him to go save Asuka. Akira then throws a stone to Kamui to test his abilities. Kamui knows Akira's ability is not the canon, thanks to Masaya telling them beforehand. When Akira takes out Rindu's sword, Kamui is convinced his ability is to copy others. He gets slashed by Rindu's ability. Of course, this all works in Akira's favor as Kamui thinks he has Rindu's ability. Akira also lets him know that his ability is not the canon as part of his plan. Meanwhile, Momoko is about to kill Shirasagi, but he knows she is the traitor all along. He just didn't want to believe it. Momoko reveals that she was at first on his side, but when she learned about Red Team's bosses, she switched. That's because Hajime and Masaya are her kids. Then she takes baby Taro as hostage. Give up or the baby dies. Shirasagi gives up, then she shoots him. But it looks like Red Team hasn't won yet. It is then Masaya deduces Shirasagi isn't Green Team's king, but Akira. Don't look now, Akira is here after using up Mion points to locate his whereabouts. Meanwhile, Ringo still doubts herself as Akira has given her the role to stop the enemy in such circumstances. But Akira also told her to have confidence in her abilities, so she copies Momoko's cannons. Despite a tenth of the power, it shoots faster. As Momoko and Ringo is about to have a showdown, Ringo has her put Taro in a safe spot. This gives her some ideas to try out. However, Momoko beats her up as she claims about failing to save her kids before, but she will now save them. When Ringo fires at the rocks to crush Taro, Momoko panics. But Taro isn't there. Momoko hasn't been firing pot shots, but to change the terrain's shape. Now that Taro is in Ringo's hands, she knows Momoko let her guard down when Taro went missing. Although Momoko gives up, she still wants to kill Ringo. Ringo fires into the rocks to let it all crush her. Yuri won't be fighting Hajime alone as Shin and Madoka are here to help. Masaya have also predicted this but didn't think Akira would be the king. No matter, he'll still crush him with his ability. If you're wondering where Siko, Kitajima and Aoji have been, wonder no more. They're Masaya's slaves. As he sends his slaves to corner Akira, Akira knows his abilities thanks to Ringo. When they were captured by Red Team, Hajime was about to kill them, but Masaya stepped in to save them. But that was only a ploy to make them think so. Because of that, this triggered his ability to make them his slaves as they owe him a debt equivalent to their lives. When Akira tries to talk about his power, Masaya believes that he is just buying time for his friends to defeat Hajime. Because of all this somewhat triggers Masaya's ability to turn Akira into his slave, but since it is only minor, he can only bind his leg. But this is enough because Masaya forces him to use his teleport ability. Although Akira does so, he gets captured by the slaves, right where Masaya wants him to. Then Masaya stabs him in the guts as he brags how he has him danced in his palms all the while. But that is when Akira starts to make his counterattack as he blasts Masaya away with Shirasaga's ability. Akira explaining his talking wasn't to buy time, but to subtly imprint reminders of Shirasaga's powers. Akira put slabs of meat on his stomach in anticipation of the knife attack. Now it Akira's turn to reveal his genius plan and how Masaya was dancing in his palm instead. When Shin found the spy, Akira had Yuri to that experiment and turn Akira into that spy. Then he was the one who leaked info to Masaya about Akira's power. Of course he leaked enough so as to make Masaya think he came to that conclusion himself, but the conclusion Akira wants. After Masaya admits defeat, Akira thinks Yuri's side will be okay, but Masaya cautious that is where he is wrong. He'll show his true power when he is cornered. Indeed, Hajime now turning into some Hulk and bashing everyone around. Such feelings of who he is makes him power up. Flashback shows both of them come from the same orphanage, but the headmaster isn't abusive. Masaya and Hajime clicked in creating their own ideal kingdom. So when the headmaster trampled on that feelings, Hajime snapped and beat the hell out of him. At that point he was unstoppable. Perhaps he is a monster. Yuri can tell of his hard beginnings from his scars because of Rhea. Will she turn out like him? She still believes that despite the inhuman treatment, they are all still humans. That's why she can stop him. Now she truly believes everything that has happened isn't random. Yuri and Hajime took out each other's arm. While Hajime is still beating her, he is baffled she is still standing. Yuri feels hurt all over, but what about him? He claims he doesn't, but that just feels like an excuse to run away. Then as she gives her final punch, suddenly her powers are sealed. Turns out this is the final work of Masaya. Knowing he has not much longer to live, he released the slaves nearby to make it look like he lost his ability. He used up Mion points for this last act. Akira also uses me on point to make a huge announcement for Hajime to stop killing Yuri. Admitting himself as Team Green's king, he will head there and fight one-on-one. Hajime knows that Masas is dead and that their kingdom would be meaningless without him. He accepts Akira's proposal. As Hajime charges at Akira, suddenly this guy powers up and gives him a punch that is 10 times its power. Flashback shows Akira and Yuri practicing whatever this move. Thank goodness it paid off. Hajime gets knocked out in one single punch. Green team is declared the winner. Akira and Yuri's reunion interrupted with Mion has a final role for the king. As Akira cleans himself up, he is approached by Amoto who claims he saw his move. Akira panics thinking his secret is discovered, and makes efforts to buy time to gather information. Amoto then shows his ability by shooting him with his hand cannon. He wants Akira to tell Mion that he will be going active now. This means he will be advancing to the next program to kill Mion. Since Akira owes him his life, he wants his help to achieve that goal. Next we see Akira back to his ordinary life. Was it all a dream? Well, he meets up with Yuri who is so happy to see him, she can't wait to jump and hug him. But they note that they are still in the game because those who advance now won't have those chunky handcuffs, but a double green stripe over their wrist. Thank you for watching till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe.